even arranged that bull riding thing.
Oh my God.
Like see, now it got serious. What's your worst injury, this and that? When you get so many bad ones, you can't really put your finger on the worst.
Always stick to bull riding.
I did a little steer wrestling.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Howdy, y'all. Welcome to Seager Storytime. We're your hosts, Mattson, Case, and Elliott, and we're the co-founders of Seager Company.
I gotta ask. Well, actually, first of all, thanks for coming.
Yeah,
yeah. It's always a pleasure to be on wherever I'm at.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We're stoked to have you here, and I gotta ask, where's the belt from? The buckle.
Well, this buckle here is a special one. That's a world championship buckle.
Hell yeah.
That's what every little boy that ever has rode bulls has dreamed of winning. And so to have one on my belt, man, it's an honor.
Yeah,
for sure.
Do you have
incredible.
Like in your closet, do you have like a shrine or something you put it on? You know what I mean? You're not just putting it on the counter. You're probably like, it's got to be somewhere.
Oh man, I wish I did. Honestly, when this thing comes off, it gets thrown in the box
No
with 1,000 other ones.
Wow,
yeah.
That's awesome.
But it's got a spot on the top. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's
I'm
a special
sure that's
one.
a crazy feeling when you won that.
Man, it is. It was, but to be honest with you, it's not what you think.
Really?
It's no different. When I won that world title buckle, it was no different than any other buckle I'd ever won.
Just become like
The journey meant a whole lot more.
yeah.
But the act itself, it was no different, right? Like you were just the winner that day.
Yeah,
And the next day, it don't
crazy.
matter. You got to go do it again.
Dang,
start all
that's
over.
wild.
Yeah.
I guess that's
Yeah.
like all I heard. I know the CMAs are going on, I think right now, or did or something.
Yeah,
And I heard something on the radio. I think it was Kody Johnson was talking about, someone interviewed him in passing about like, what are you going to do if you win this thing or that thing or whatever, song of the year or something. And he was like, I don't remember exactly what he said. He always has a way with words. So I'm going to blow it if I even try. But he said something like, I hope I don't win because I'm always chasing something, you know. That's what that made me think of when he said that. I'm like, you're kind of just, if you're trying to win a championship in anything, I feel like it takes a certain type of person who's, you're never done.
yeah.
You know, you're kind of always going.
I thought you were he was gonna say, I'm just gonna go to bed, wake up next morning, do it all over.
That would also be gangster for sure.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me knowing him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He seems
But,
like a great dude.
Yeah, I don't know him well, but he used to rodeo as well. And so we kind of got that connection and just listened to his
cool.
music and everything.
That's cool.
He's got a song called Dear Rodeo
Yeah, it's a
that
great
hits
song.
home.
Great
It
song.
hits
Yeah,
home
sure.
hard for a guy that's done it.
So how did you go? Did you like apply for the coaching gig or did they come to you? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so the coaching gig, that's a whole nother story in itself. How the
sure.
PBR, separated from rodeo,
Yeah.
and then turned into a standalone sport. Created this team league, which is we just finished our 3rd season,
It's awesome.
and so when I retired from this sport and something I love to do, devoted my whole life to it, was a little bit lost. And so when the team opportunity came up, I actually got a call from one of the GMs, he was GM of the formerly Oklahoma Freedom, which is now the Florida Freedom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is there not a team in Oklahoma anymore?
Well, now there's a new team
Whoa.
in Florida, in Oklahoma, the Wildcatters.
Wow.
And
They
so-
just got bought or something?
Yeah. So the whole story behind that was the first year they sold 8 team franchises, and then they had an expansion year, which was this year. They sold 2 more franchises. And so that's when I got approached to be the head coach of this new team, the New York Mavericks. And then one of the other team owners that bought a franchise moved his team to Oklahoma
Wow.
and replaced the old Oklahoma team. So
How are they picking which, like, there's nothing in California, right?
not right now, but there might be.
But why? That would be awesome.
sounds
why,
like there will be.
Yeah. How do they pick
Get
that?
the
Like,
inside
New York,
scoop.
you wouldn't think. Like, I wouldn't think. I wouldn't be my first take. Like, Oklahoma, I'm like, makes sense.
Yeah. I think
Florida makes sense.
there's a little bit of a process behind it, and I'm not familiar with the entire thing, but basically you've got your franchise owners, and then you've got kind of established markets within the PBR,
I see.
and there's some sort of coordination there on
makes
how
sense.
they pick.
That means there's
who
got to
goes
be
there.
because they always like there's this weekend's Ontario, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's always something like even
I think it's
Anaheim.
similar to any other professional sport in that sense. Like there's a franchise owner, there's going to be a management team, they're going to hire a head coach, they're going to try and get the best talent. Like it's all the same idea, right?
Yeah. It's all generally the same. And then when you look at the the money making side of things, obviously y'all are business owners, so you're well aware you've got to make money. And I think,
sure.
Sometimes the market is going to determine that, well, this market's working, it's not working.
Yeah.
And go from there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Also, just to rewind a little bit, because I feel like there's going to be some acronyms thrown out. And just if anybody's listening that doesn't know, could you explain the PBR, the PRCA, and NFR? I feel like we're going to talk about all three of those.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You could explain the differences in each one. That'd
For
be awesome.
sure. So if you want to go real far back, the PRCA used to be the RCA, Rodeo Cowboys Association. They added, I don't know what year, but added in the professional part. So you've got the PRCA, Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. They were the standard forever. All the professional rodeo guys, bull riders, bronc riders, ropers, they all went there.
Yeah.
In 1992, the PBR decided, a group of PRCA guys that were riding there decided, hey, we think bull riding can be a standalone sport. We are going to create the PBR, Professional Bull Riders, and make it its own deal. So those original 20 guys all pitched in $1,000 and created the PBR.
Damn.
And they had their first finals in 94. And, here we are in 2024, and it's one of the biggest sports out there right now as far as growth. You know?
For sure.
And NFR is where they all come together for a national championship.
Yeah, and so the NFR is specifically PRCA.
Yeah.
So that's your national finals rodeo. All your rodeo guys that have been doing the PRCA all year, that's their finals. And then our finals in the PBR has typically been, just the PBR finals.
Yeah.
Well, now with the addition of teams, we've got individual season PBR finals and teams finals.
Wow.
So the teams finals is actually in Vegas at the same time that the previous individual season finals used to be before they split it.
Got it.
I'd imagine that the teams component gives more opportunity to people who aren't just like the top dog every year, right?
Yeah, it really does. The team aspect is built so much on the sport just for the fact that there's more opportunity for the riders, not only money, but positions on the teams.
That's cool.
Typically in your regular season events, there's 35 of the best in the world. Well, in teams now we've got, 10 teams at 12 guys a team. You've got 120 guys.
Yeah.
That
awesome.
That potentially can really do
like
something.
Reserves or anything like that? Like when you go to do another draft, like do people age out or like do you make trades? How does that work?
Yeah, just like all those sports, there's guys retiring, new guys coming in. Fortunately, our pool coming in is pretty small every year, so we're really trying to make the best with what we got. But we can trade riders, trade draft picks, trade capital.
That's awesome.
We've got a designated, what's called a protected roster. So those are guys that nobody can touch. They're our main guys.
Got it.
We can trade them back and forth, but that's they're the bread and butter of our team. And then the reserve guys, which are still really good but not quite haven't quite earned that spot as the top end.
Yeah,
they we get to actually kind of rebuild that team every year at the end of the season.
Cool.
We lose all our reserve guys and they're free to maybe go to this team or that team.
Free agents.
Yeah.
What about the bulls themselves? Are they always introducing new bulls?
Oh my
It's
gosh.
like, oh shit, this is the craziest bull. Nobody's ever ridden it.
Yeah.
How often
So
is that happening?
the buck and bull industry has just exploded
Yeah.
over the last 20, 30 years. Mainly because the competitions for the bulls themselves. The guys that own them can pay an entry fee and compete with these bulls at various levels from the time they're yearlings to 4-year-old. And so the breeding programs, which I'm part of it too, I've been raising bulls for 20 years, has just exploded. And so you've got this mass pool of bucking bulls being born every year.
Whoa.
And so the depth is just phenomenal. Back, say 30 years ago, there was not any better bulls, but there was 2 or 3 of them. Now there's 80 of them.
Yeah.
And so there's no end of the pool, it seems like, when it comes to bucking bulls. But it's really cool. But there's always new ones coming around.
Damn.
And
What's that market like? So like you raise bulls, like you actually raise bulls.
yep.
And do you like lease them out or do you sell them? Like how does that work?
Just try and get them to be
I'm so
crazy.
curious.
Yeah. So it's kind of situational to whatever a guy wants to accomplish. I like the breeding end of things, creating, what I think is going to work, and I sell them outright.
And so you're breeding for like the gnarliest bull. You're not breeding for like fucking best meat.
No, they definitely don't do well when you sell them on the rail.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're breeding proven bloodlines and athleticism into these calves.
Wild.
Damn.
You're giving them all the tools, and then if they want to do it, they can. Kind of like people, right?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so even the most gifted athletes. If they don't want to do it, you can't force them to do
Elliott was telling me he wants to ride a bull possibly
Oh
tomorrow.
my God, yeah, right.
it. Heck yeah,
Yeah,
line
I
it
just had a
up,
baby,
line it
bro.
up.
I just had my first baby. I can't die right now, dude.
What are the different types of scenarios where they do take like newcomers, just local small town rodeos?
Well, yeah, basically.
And you have to be sponsored, and not sponsored by a brand, but you have to have a sponsor helping you into it,
Probably
right?
for liability.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
No. Rodeo and bull riding specifically is one of the few events or professional events where you pay your own way all the way through. In the professional ranks, there's like a qualifying system basically. Yeah. So you're on what's called a permit until you win a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
And then you're on your card and you're a full blown member.
So really anybody could pay their way in. If it's a small enough local rodeo, they'll let you in if you pay.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. You just hand them money and sign the release. And
go for it.
Yeah.
So sick. It's a cool sport. I love that. And we're talking about this outside. Like I love the idea of teams. When I first saw that, I was stoked because it brings so many other people into the fold of it. Because for whatever reason, people are just used to team sports. Like surfing, for example, where we're from here, it's similar, I would say, in a way, to like with the individualistic side of it, and they I think pay their own way too for the most part.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll have like a brand sponsor and things like that, but they're kind of on their own, and they just have a spot on the tour or they don't. And I don't think there's any team talks in surf. I don't know how they would even do that, but it's just cool that when they did the team thing, I'm like, okay, that's genius. Like now people are all over. And there's like the regional aspect of it where people can get all fired up to it. And,
yeah.
But there's not really like arenas. You guys you don't have like your own stadiums or facilities, right? You utilize what's there.
Well, yeah, yes and no. Typically, all the coliseums we go to are used for all the sporting events.
Got it.
So they haul in dirt and put up an arena, and for that weekend, that's our home event. And like our home event was in Brooklyn, New York.
That's so sick.
And so there'd never been a bull riding. There'd never been probably a piece of dirt in that building.
Oh my God. I imagine there was like PETA out front. That would be my first guess.
It wasn't that bad.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have guessed it would have been annoying.
Yeah, not too bad there. In California, we always get a few.
For sure, especially here even.
Yeah, Chicago is pretty bad. Right. But what's interesting? A lot of those folks, I'm one of the guys, like I'm willing to talk to you like
for sure.
as a human, right? And just share with you the information.
Yeah.
And a lot of those folks that I've talked to, once they learn a little bit about it and they realize all the things they thought they knew wasn't true.
Yeah.
A lot of them turn into bull riding fans.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Just misinformation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like anything, if you don't understand something, it's easy to be fooled by
I know.
information.
By the way, have you ridden in the RMV rodeo out here before? Have you heard of that? Rancho Mission Viejo?
I've heard of it and I've watched the results from it, but I've never competed in it.
Okay. They ended it last year.
Oh, no kidding.
They've had it for decades, right?
It was the longest running rodeo
in
Southern California, maybe.
No kidding.
Yeah. And I don't know why they ended it. There was some sort of
COVID wasn't good. I mean,
there was a cattle virus as well, like 2 years ago.
Oh,
I think it was
that
the
really
horse.
messed them up.
Gotcha. Horse virus.
Yeah, something was going on, and
maybe it's a hard thing for me to accept when those old rodeos like that go down.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah.
Because it's part of our culture, our history.
Yeah. And here, the last one, it might have been 4 years ago or something.
2 or 3 years ago.
We went to that one, and it was they only seat, I think it's 4,000 people or something like that. Yeah. But I mean, there's only so many people in Southern Orange County too. But there was probably like close to 1,000 people just trying to scalp tickets.
Yeah,
the demand's there.
Yeah.
Everyone's fired up, and a lot of people too had never seen it, never been exposed to it. A lot of kids, I'm like, this is great. And then when it ended, I'm like, now what? Like, where these people got to go to San Diego or something?
Yeah, we were really bummed because this is our hometown, and it was less than 5 minutes from this office.
Great.
Cabin, I should say. And then they ended it, and we tried to hit some people up to get together to bring it back, but it seems like it's just
what was their reasoning for ending it?
I don't think anybody really got a straight answer. Do you know?
My best take on it, Orange County's got a lot of developers, right? A lot of like old, I think most of Southern California was owned by like 3 families or something like that.
No kidding.
And one of the everything's like named after them, and I could be off by like a person or two, but there's something like that. And the people who did that rodeo, they go by the family, which is usually an indicator that they do some fun stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like their philanthropic donation was doing the rodeo every year. And there was like financial hits during COVID. There was where they do it was like an annual lease, but then that turned into a long-term 20-year lease. to a different owner or something. So I think it was just like the money didn't add up.
Gotcha.
In short, I think, which is a bummer because there's plenty of people who would be willing to do it here, but I think the city was kind of moving away from it or something.
Yeah, it's
right?
tough. I know, like even the city of LA, they had a vote. They were trying to ban all rodeo events in LA.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds
I mean, I hate to
classic
say
LA.
it, but LA is just
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
stupid.
you get that everywhere. Where
Doesn't surprise me,
You got
honestly.
some towns that just
Yeah.
do haywire things.
It's crazy. I mean, LA is just out of control, though. I don't know what was the last time you've been there, but it is insane.
Yeah, it is insane.
I hate going through it. Even just going through it, it's insane.
Yeah, I hear you. I've always tried to avoid it from day one, so I
it's
couldn't tell you.
overwhelming. It's
So,
overwhelming.
how did you first get into the sport? Like, did your dad just throw you on a bull or horse first? Or, like, when did you first get on that bull? Just be like, fuck it, I'm going to go for it.
You know, I got kind of a unique story because I didn't grow up in rodeo. Like, I grew up rural and we ranched and farmed and stuff, but nobody in my family ever rodeoed, rode bulls or nothing. When I was 7 years old, I had a tape of Cheyenne Frontier Days. And I don't know, I'm sure you guys know
Yeah.
who Lane Frost is. And that's where he got killed. And the tape I had was the year he got killed.
Wow.
So that him getting killed isn't relevant to what made me start riding, but I'm just,
Yeah,
for
just
context, that's when it was. But I'd watch that video over and over and over, and I'd ride my dog around the house, and just I thought the bull riding was the coolest thing ever. And so my mom coincidentally was like, "Hey, you want to ride a steer? You want to ride a steer at the county fair?" I'm like, "Hell yeah! Like, sign me up."
That's
You know,
awesome.
I'd not have a clue what I'm doing,
Yeah.
not a clue.
Are you still 7 or 8 at this
I'm
point?
7, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so she actually lied about my age because you had to be 8 to enter. So
That's
she
a
said
great
I was
mom.
8. Yeah. And she thought, oh, he'll just do it one time and he'll fall off, be done with it. You know, bucket list deal.
Yeah.
And I showed up, no equipment, no idea what I was doing. They found me a rope, put me on a steer, and I fell off. And I thought it was just the funnest thing ever. And so I just kept on doing it, and I kept on riding and riding. And I sucked forever. I could not fight my way out of a wet paper sack any better than I could stay on the back of one of these steers. And eventually, it kind of just got better at it, you know.
Yeah.
Is that the
Turn into
best
a career.
way? I mean, now that there's teams and you guys have like, you know, programs and training and whatnot, but like if you're an up and comer, is it just repetition, or are there like places to go where you can actually learn fundamentals and whatnot? Like,
Yeah, there's both actually. So repetition's huge, right? In any
Yeah.
sport, in anything you do to get good at it, you have to fail over and over and over
For
and
sure.
over and over until you figure out how to do it well. But there's bull riding schools all over the country. Some better than others.
That's cool.
You know, I went to a bunch when I was younger, and I've put on a bunch since I've been older. But the coaching and all that stuff really cuts down on the learning curve, right? Because like me, I went trial and error and didn't stay on anything for 2 or 3 years when I first started. Not that was bad, but I could have been a lot
yeah.
quicker down the road if I'd had a little more guidance early on. So that's
really-
definitely it's definitely out there now. It's just guys takes advantage of it, man. The sky's the limit.
But see
Crazy.
that's what makes me get so bummed with the local rodeo here, because there were so many kids seeing it for the first time that might be their launching point,
Yeah.
their inspiration to do it. But now there's less exposure. I mean, maybe on TV or something, but like being there and seeing it is a different beast
No, for sure.
in and of
You
itself,
you feel the ground rumble when those
Oh, it's
bulls are bucking.
insane.
It's a whole
Oh,
different
yeah.
experience.
for sure.
Yeah, and that's what we really lack in the sport is the young guys coming in.
Yeah, get that.
Because it's understandable. You can go play football or baseball or whatever.
Yeah, the like
Probably not get hurt too
cost
much.
reward thing, probably
Yeah,
for sure.
you can stay relatively healthy, or you can go risk your life every time you do it.
Yeah, that's
Do
insane.
a different sport.
So, did you ever try other rodeo games as well, or did you always stick to bull riding?
You know, I did a little steer wrestling.
Did you?
Yeah, but
I
I'm
always
not
thought that
nearly
was the
big enough.
coolest. Oh, really? What's the average like height weight?
Oh, they're big guys. Those are like your
6'4"?
linebackers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Gnarly.
So you gotta
Yep.
put all the
Probably
weight into
need
it.
that.
Yeah, you figure, you know, they just got more mass and more strength and
Gnarly.
everything. So I thought it was really fun, but I got my ass handed to me.
It's
most
the
of the
most
time.
fun to watch to me, honestly. Like outside of bull,
Yeah.
like that's probably the most entertaining. The one my wife is just like, I don't get it. She just says that. I'm like, you don't have to get it. Just watch it. You know?
Yeah.
With
yeah.
steer
Watch it
wrestling?
for the wrecks.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
only one.
that's
But
hilarious.
it's my favorite personally. Again, outside of bull riding, it's
Yeah.
like it's hard to beat that. It's kind of like big wave surfing. Like if you don't know surfing, you tend to naturally be like, let's see the biggest one.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
gravitate towards that.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Then that, honestly, since you brought up surfing, that scares the hell out of me. Like,
Big wave?
I'm assuming you're a surfer or have done.
Yeah,
some
we
surfing.
surf, but I'm not a big wave guy either. Just like if I was in
That's the
rodeo, I would
scariest thing
not
I
be a
can
bull
think
rider.
of.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not scared
That's
of much,
terrifying.
but the most times I've ever been terrified has been in the ocean.
Have you you've tried surfing before?
A
little bit.
I guess you could say I tried.
Yeah.
I don't even know if what I did qualified as trying, but
Where'd you
I was
go?
out there getting my ass kicked.
I feel that.
Where was it at? Do you know?
Man, I don't. It was one of the coasts. I've been
West Coast or
Yeah, I couldn't tell
Yeah.
you. I just know I've been to a lot of coasts.
yeah.
A lot of coasts, both coasts, a lot of
You've
times.
been to every beach
Yeah.
in the world. Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah, I get how surfing
It's
is
hard.
scary if you didn't grow up like by the ocean for sure. But when you grow up by the ocean, it's like the most playful, fun thing.
Really?
Get out there and have fun.
For sure. I mean, most
Oh,
people
man.
that
Yeah.
there's fear from what I've heard of getting into surfing is more like sharks,
Yeah.
predators.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that is like unless you're, I guess, like in the backcountry, it's not really like a lot of sports that have actual animal threats
Yeah.
associated with it. But it's definitely just shockingly hard for sure. Surfing, like when you do it, you just get thrown around. It
And-
looks so easy.
And can't get out.
Yeah,
Like
you're
that was
out
my
there.
experience. I'm just getting rolled around
Oh,
on the
yeah.
bottom. I'm like, let me go.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know?
Yeah. it's
I'm
Mother
sure it's
Nature.
the same. I mean, bull riding doesn't look easy at all, so it's a different example. But I'm sure people are like, I could give that a go. Like I feel like drunk dudes are like, I could do that
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
They should do that at PBR events. Like in basketball, they do like halftime, like hit a half court fucking toss. They should do that where like the drunkest guy signs up, like win a lottery ticket or something,
You get a free
ride.
car.
Do.
and yeah, you get a free
Sometimes.
car or
Free car.
something.
That happens
Sign
a
your
lot
life
of the
away.
local ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Like a lot of local ones around Colorado. I
That's
remember
so fun.
some guy just get hammered, come from
Yeah.
the beer garden, and he's
Sick.
like, I'm entered. What do I do? I'm like,
yeah.
oh no.
That's
Like
Good
everybody's hitting each other. Like, hey, watch this guy.
exactly. Everyone wants to watch that. They should definitely have like an amateur league.
Yeah. What is like the injury rate for the pros and just in general in the sport? Is it
probably high as
really high?
Yeah, it's high, and honestly, I've heard the numbers, but I don't remember them off the
Yeah.
top of my head. But it's pretty consistent, and the injuries they see are consistent with car wrecks.
Oh,
Really?
interesting. Wow.
Yeah, and so it's not the old cliche. It's not if you get hurt, it's win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And so that's something a guy's got to accept from an early age.
Yeah.
That hey, I'm gonna get hurt, and it's my choice if I'm gonna be tough enough to deal with it or not.
Yeah. Are you a big proponent of helmet?
I am for the guys learning.
Yeah.
I think helmets are great for guys learning because you make mistakes, you end up under them, you end up on their head and all the things. Me personally, I grew up wearing one and got along fine until I
Yeah.
took it off, and
Yeah.
I realized, wow, I ride way better without this thing.
Really, just visibility or something?
Yeah, just all of it. I felt free. The
sense.
visibility was better, the weight was different. And a couple times throughout my professional career, I tried putting it back on, and I actually ended up getting hurt more with it on. And
wow.
each time, it was a new helmet, right? Like
Yeah.
this new type, it's supposed to be the
Yeah,
biggest and
carbon fiber
best.
or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, carbon fiber.
Yeah,
You know what's a
they
bummer
love saying that.
is I had the idea for carbon fiber helmets 10 years before they made them.
And they
Damn.
probably made like $1 billion
Yeah,
off of it.
and I was like, oh no, that'll never work.
Yeah.
And then here they come. But I am helmets. I think are great for learning. But once a guy's sure enough a man and he knows what he's doing,
Yeah.
I think he ought to be able to make his own choice.
Yeah.
For sure.
Unfortunately, in the PBR, there's a certain age cutoff. If you're born after a certain year, you got to wear a helmet.
Oh, really? It's grandfathered in like
Wow.
that?
Yeah.
A certain year. It's interesting.
Damn,
Yeah,
that's
so I think
25.
right now it's about like 30-year-old guys
Damn.
don't have to. If you're 30 or over about that age,
Yeah.
you don't have to wear one.
Interesting. So they're slowly working away from it.
Yeah, and I'm sure
It's probably
you
like
know
NFL. like
it's a
they just have
legal
to.
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the bigger the sport
people
gets, the
spit,
more
yeah.
regulations,
yeah.
That's
It's a
super
bummer
interesting
though.
how
I
it
mean,
goes.
I don't have anything against them, but it's a man's sport.
For sure.
Yeah.
and
they
if
should be
you're
able to
man enough to not wear one, then that's your
Yeah,
choice. And I
that's
think you ought to
exactly
be able to.
Yeah.
For sure.
Interesting.
That is wild.
This
Yeah.
is so random, but have you seen Chase Outlaw's Chuck and Buck? Or is it Buck and Chuck?
Oh yeah,
That thing is insane.
Might be the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Insane.
yeah. And so you got to know Chase
Yeah.
to know how that fits him. Like Chase is the most unique person you've ever met in your life.
Wild.
They could make a movie about him, and
Yeah.
it would make millions and
They
millions
should,
of dollars.
for sure.
I know.
Someone should.
I met him really briefly in Fort Worth a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we've just been chatting and
Yeah.
having fun. But
He's a good
it's-
dude.
yeah, that event looks so wild because there's no gates or anything. It's just
No.
open.
Yeah,
So,
just a circle of people.
yeah. So
But-
the bull just gets out and just terrorizes you.
Yeah, but it fits.
Crazy.
It fits the whole chuck wagon
Yeah.
weekend, right? If
Yeah.
you ought to ask him some questions about everything else that goes on that weekend, and
Yeah.
the bull riding is probably the tamest part.
I want to go out and see it. Yeah, it sounds wild.
Probably invite only or something. I feel like
No.
any narcs there. You know what I mean?
No,
the-
he'd love to have you.
The chuck wagons are how fast are those things going when they're doing that chuck wagon race?
Well, wide open. I mean, your horse is going to
So
run 30,
fast.
35 mile an hour. So
Insane.
Can you put on like suspension on those things? You know?
I think they do have a little
Do
bit.
they? I was gonna say they do like those lawnmower races where they soup them up.
Natural.
Yeah.
That'd be sick. That's crazy. I was gonna say too about the medical side of things, not to just get rid of the fun part. I was gonna say we met with Justin Boots down in Fort Worth, and they were telling us about, I forgot the acronym. It's another acronym. Because they do the whole medical, but that might be just the PRCA. Now that I'm thinking about it, you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
I forget the acronym as well.
You know,
it's like
they-
their medical side to Justin Boots.
Yeah, they provide
created
the
a
medical
full-
services.
Yeah. It's the, well, I think they're just called the Justin Sports Med.
That's
That's
exactly.
exactly
what
I should have just guessed. I would have been right.
Not even an acronym.
I could have sworn it had like 5 letters.
You're above my head there. I thought
Yeah.
you knew something I didn't.
No, yeah, I know. We
Um,
learned it one time in the PowerPoint.
There you go.
Not for PBR. It's only for
No,
PBR.
so yeah, the PRCA and the PBR kind of have their own sports med teams,
Yeah.
Oh, God.
and they do work together occasionally.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but Justin Boots has sponsored the PRCA sports med team
That's
forever, and then the PBR's got their own.
Yeah, they're-
Which league I'll call it is technically bigger right now.
Well, your PBR is going to be bigger in the bull riding world,
Yeah.
for sure. But if you look at all the other rodeo events, you know, PRCA is the best of the best.
Made of humble beginnings and smooth finishes, made of altitude and attitude, made of generations, grit, wonder, and wander, but most of all, made of Wyoming.
By the way, I'm utterly impressed with Turtlebox. The durability is seriously unmatched. How many times did we use it on our Hawaii trip?
The entire time, like from when we went down to Pipeline all the way to when we went on the boat with Malahi, Wolf, and Finn.
Yeah, we were throwing it in the sand, throwing it on the grass, throwing it in the water. It does everything.
Yeah, I think the coolest part about it is it's fully waterproof. I mean, that's so sick that you can just literally be fishing and blast it with water, and it's totally fine as quality sound.
And you don't even need boat speakers. You might as well just have a Turtlebox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why spend thousands of dollars on boat speakers when you can just put this thing anywhere you're going?
For $3.99.
Yeah,
$3.99.
and if you have 2 of them, you can sync them together, and it takes 2 seconds.
Surround sound.
Yeah.
Boom.
The sound quality is insane.
It's insane.
We
Go
love
out
it.
there and go get one.
Turtle box.
Do you see PBR kind of inching up and like continuing to grow past it?
Oh yeah, yeah. PBR has blown PRCA out of the water as far as growth and,
Yeah.
and the things they've been able to accomplish, and they keep going up, right? And it honestly, a rising tide lifts all ships because it's helped the PRCA as
For
well.
sure.
You know that competition's good, and it's helped those guys over there make a lot of money and even be a good stepping stone,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
the competition is the toughest in the PBR, and that's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Not only bulls, but the riders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
why
when you've
would-
got a professional organization that can still be a stepping stone to the top level, I mean,
Yeah,
I think
that's
that's
awesome.
awesome.
Like,
Yeah,
why
it's
would
wild.
someone? So it's just a stepping stone to get to PBR if you're a bull rider and you're in the PRCA. Is that why you would go that route? It's kind of like a way up.
Yes and no. It's a way up if that's your goal.
Okay.
But the PRCA is very prestigious as well, right?
Yeah.
Like it's been around forever, and you know the finals in Vegas, those yellow
Yeah.
buck and shoots. That's what I grew up dreaming of. You
Yeah.
know, before the PBR was a reality, it was the yellow buck and shoots at the NFR. And so, you know, like Sage Kimsey, for example, he's a 7-time world champion. He's still riding right now. He's transitioned over to the teams or the PBR teams. He had a goal to win 9 world titles. He wanted to beat Donnie Gay's record
Wow.
of 8,
Yeah.
and he got to 7. You know, and just kind of decided that was enough, and he was going to change his plans. But for him, he could have gone to the PBR long before he did.
Yeah.
He just had those goals of he wanted to accomplish this thing and this thing only, and he set his sights on it. And I respect that a
For
lot.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm trying to think of another sport in general that has two such competitive leagues? Because usually it's not like
Well, they
that.
tried in the NFL, right? That like XFL or something.
Yeah, but that one's obviously
It's not even close. I know there is
Yeah.
nothing like it.
I know
really.
it's pretty unique in that sense.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that just comes to the fact that, technically all these guys are still independent contractors.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that a lot of Cowboys really like is that freedom, the freedom to do what you
That's
want to do
cool.
when you want to do it. And so you end up with a lot of different
Yeah.
motives and
For
goals.
sure. I'm sure it's in like being the coach too. You're wrangling these very like motivated young men, right? That are doing they're definitely the gnarliest sport that exists. Like when you get everyone in a room, like how are you motivating people that are already that gnarly? Like, are you kind of calming them down before you compete, or what's like the dynamic like before you guys go out?
Yeah. So the coaching deal has been a learning curve for me as well,
Mhm.
because like you said, some guys do need calmed down.
Yeah,
Some
sure.
guys need amped up.
For
Typically
sure.
it correlates with their age.
Oh, really? Like the older you
I
are, the
can
more.
imagine for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's just like anything. Sometimes you need a little more kick in the butt
Yeah,
to get going when you're older.
I feel that.
And so these young guys, a lot of times that's the key. Like bring it down a notch.
Yeah.
Just keep your cool. You've done this before. You can do it again. And the older guys it's kind of the opposite. Like, hey, wake up. It's time to go to work.
Yeah. Insane.
But yeah, you get a bunch of bull riders in a room together. It's pretty unique because everybody's got their own kind of approach and how they do things. But also these are some of the most competitive humans that you've ever witnessed. And they almost have an unreal belief in themselves, which I think is kind of a prerequisite
You
to
probably have to.
yeah, because you're
Like big
overmatched every time you get on a bull. There's
For
no
sure.
reason to think you can dominate that animal.
Yeah.
But somehow you got these 150-pound,
Yeah.
5'7" guys that all think they can dominate.
It's insane.
So things can get wild. They can get
Sure.
pretty Western in the locker room.
Yeah, sure. It made like again with surfing, or I guess similar to surfing, maybe the 90s or something like that, early 2000s. Like they were all independent contractors, I think. But then after tournaments, like they'd be traveling the most beautiful places in the world, surfing the best waves in the world. And then when they're done competing, they would just party their asses off. And so I would imagine, but then nowadays it's more like cold plunges and working out, and they treat it more like athletics.
Well,
I feel like that would be the same thing.
I
with
hate to
PBR.
make comparisons between the two sports, but big wave surfing is fairly similar.
It's
in the sense
so
of bull
similar.
riding. Like big wave is these guys are risking their lives.
There's no way you think
it's
you can
Mother
do it.
Nature, and the wave, you can't tame that wave. It's just what can you do to not get injured and make it out alive.
For sure.
And then they probably just get the thrill afterwards and are just like
Adrenaline
partying
junkies.
or doing something.
Yeah,
after
you have
that.
to.
So there's probably a lot of similarities in that sense.
Oh, I'm sure. And when you describe it like that, it actually makes a lot of sense to me because bull riding forever has kind of been similar to that. It's like when you're that close to the edge and you do something, really, really amazing. It's almost like there's not a letdown, but a come down period where
100%.
guys have to get back to
Yeah.
normalcy.
Yeah, that's insane. I guess NASCAR maybe is similar too. I don't know. Like how do you race and then just drive on the street normally? Like how do you ride a bull and then just like go hang out with your kid after that? I don't get that.
Turn the switch off.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I guess all pro sports are kind of like that because it's just you have to be in a different mental state. But sports where you could definitely die doing it, I don't understand the come down. It's got to be insane.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, and I think that's the
insane.
addicting part of those sports.
And how do you
Wouldn't
retire?
you agree? Like surfing,
sure.
when you surf
Yeah.
something that's scary,
Oh, for
but
sure.
you get it done, you're like, wow,
Oh yeah,
that was
It's
scary and I want to
Yeah.
do it again.
How can I
sure.
go a little bigger next time?
Yeah.
How can I do better?
Yeah. It's
For sure.
insane. But that's where the retiring thing sounds hard. Like if you're the type of person to go all the way to a championship,
Yeah.
how do you just step away from that and chill? Like you kind of have to coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta be around it.
Yeah, fortunately for me, I fell into this position,
It's
but
awesome.
man, it's tough. Like I didn't retire really by choice. I had to, and it
I mean, what's the oldest competing bull rider right now?
it depends where you look.
Okay.
In the PBR, our oldest guy is 40, and that
seems
Damn.
old.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Most guys are done by the time they're 30. If you have a 10-year career there, that was a long one.
For sure. Wow. 40 seems, I would have guessed like 30 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
for
It's a young guy's deal. Most world champions are in that 23, 24-year-old range.
That's wild.
And so by the time you get to 30, you've had another 6 years of wear and tear on your body. And honestly, I feel like that's kind of where some guys excel a little bit, riding longer.
Yeah.
This particular guy, he didn't start riding till he was older anyways.
Okay.
So I kind of feel like there's a certain amount of years
Yeah.
that you have,
He just
and
got
whether you do it
later.
at the front or the end,
Yeah.
it doesn't change the years.
I
It's
feel
just
that.
what your body can take.
That's wild. That's wild. I mean, so on average, obviously not every retired athlete's going to become a coach. What do people just get back into ranching traditionally, like when they're done?
A lot of them, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of guys like me just started raising bulls, and they end up hauling bulls and doing all that stuff.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah, and then other guys just can't stand to be around it if they can't do it, and they'll just disappear.
Whoa. Get out of
And,
Mexico or something.
Yeah, just who knows,
Fade
you know.
away. That's wild.
End up down in Mexico
Yeah.
selling
Hell yeah.
selling used cars or something. I don't know. I don't know what you do down
I
there.
feel like that's like best case scenario. Have you never been to Mexico?
I have actually. We rode bulls in Chihuahua a few times.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Damn.
That's awesome.
Yeah, one year they had the World Cup down there, so it was like each country had its own team of bull riders, and they all compete. to
Because
see who
Brazil
wins.
is pretty good, right? Or,
Yeah, Brazil and the U.S. are
That's the
always
top
the
two.
two dominant ones. But we had the World Cup down there one year, and then had just a regular event one time, and it was a whole nother story all
Oh,
of
I'm
itself.
sure that was
We drove
insane.
down there from El Paso.
Oh, so you went through Juarez and everything?
Oh,
right
yeah.
there? That's
Damn.
gnarly.
I'll never do that again.
Yeah, I heard Juarez is the gnarliest town.
Did you
in
see some
Mexico.
crazy stuff or
Yeah, so we got stopped twice
no way?
by
Federal
police
is?
one time, and the second time I couldn't tell you what they were. They were
Yeah.
dressed in black, carrying guns, and we had a
probably
Mexican
cartel.
bull rider with us
Yeah,
that gave him $20 and a flashlight, and they let us go.
really.
That's it. A flashlight?
A flashlight.
That's so random. He just
Yeah.
knew naturally like you probably need some light.
Yeah, well, he lived on the border in New Mexico,
Okay.
and his uncle was actually kidnapped by the cartel
Wow.
for ransom. So he knew all
Wow.
about him.
Yeah. He
And,
knew like flashlight and $20.
Yeah, he's like, here, let me handle this. Next thing you know, he had some.
Briefcase full of $20 bills and flashlights.
Yeah.
In that
That's
one
insane.
single drive, you guys got pulled over twice.
hmm
Damn.
And then but down there was awesome. The governor had a party for us the first time.
Oh hell yeah. That's
And the
probably
governor's
insane.
mansion was like this big open courtyard, 3 levels.
Whoa.
And he told everybody, he said, all right, this weekend,
Whatever you want.
whatever you want.
Did he?
Nobody gets in trouble.
Oh, that's
Gave us
dangerous.
his personal cell number.
No way.
Yeah, and said, if you get in trouble, you call me.
That's the
And
coolest
there's
thing I've
guys
ever heard.
took full advantage of that.
100%. I'm sure everything was stocked to
Damn.
the gills at the house. Would you stay at the house or you just partied there?
No, they just threw us a party, and I think we
man.
stayed at a hotel down the street. Or
So they're like
something.
anything in town you do.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah,
Basically,
basically.
if you get in trouble, call me.
Oh
right?
my God.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
Like if you
yeah.
get in trouble.
I wonder where the
type
limit
deal.
is though, right? Like someone's like, oh, you murdered someone. He's like, oh, I
I
didn't
don't
say
know.
that, dude.
That's probably like scary company to be in, even.
For sure. But
Yeah.
you are protected.
You don't
which
know.
is
You don't know
cool.
the powers that guy has.
Oh yeah. But he's
No.
about control
Yeah.
too, right?
That's the whole thing. Yeah, the whole culture down there. Like I
Yeah.
really liked it, but it was
It's
really
awesome.
scary
It
because you
is
just don't
scary.
understand it.
For sure. It's very foreign. I mean, we're so close being down here. We go to Baja all the time, but mainland is different for sure. Mainland's a different beast than Baja. It's just fishing, surfing, like pretty small town. I mean, other than what, Ensenada, Cabo's down there, right?
I mean, Cabo's a lot further, but and
Yeah.
and there are scary stories every once in a while.
Well, there was a murder not too long ago.
Yeah, a couple months ago. Maybe
Yeah.
a year.
In Cabo?
I know, just a couple hours past the border.
Yeah.
At
Oh,
this
really?
place that we go to surf.
Pretty
like,
standard surf
fairly
spot.
often, but basically these 3 local guys were murdered.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was really, really sad. I think we even have some mutual friends with them, but that's just not something you hear every day.
Yeah, it's not every day.
But it does happen for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, you look at we got lots of murders in the U.S. too.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
It happens everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just where you're just foreign. That the extra aspect of like who you don't know the systems, you know, like
Yeah. And you don't hear it in this area very often either. So when that happens and it's somewhat close to home, it's kind of
in
scary.
Orange County. Orange County's got a
scares me.
weird
Yeah.
thing where like gnarly stuff could happen and you would just never know unless you know a cop or something.
Oh, no kidding.
They keep that
it
secret.
quiet.
Yeah, it's just so much tourism, and I think they do that in most tourism heavy places where it's like it's gonna hurt the value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like there was actually on this street that we're on right now. Do you remember this?
yeah.
Right when we moved in, I think you sent me a thing. You're
I
like,
was
did you hear
gone.
about this?
Yeah, I was
Did you hear
gone.
about this? I'm like, what happened? And he goes, a guy beheaded his parents and his dog,
What?
covered in blood,
Holy
Yeah.
crap.
stole like a security guy's golf cart, drove it on our
Yeah.
street, and then the cops shot him down.
Holy crap.
I know. And he sent me that.
Right
He's
here,
like, did you hear about
There's
this?
an
I'm like,
article, huh?
what?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it just happened a couple days ago. I'm like, in front of us? I didn't even know that happened. I would have never known.
Was that when we were here?
Yes.
Was it like the day where like all those cops were like down the road?
Yes, I think.
I
Like,
was in
early on.
Montana and somebody texted me.
It blew
a
my
link,
mind.
And you guys were all moving in. So
Yeah.
oh,
I remember
that
driving
sounds
in and there
okay.
was like a ton of cop cars
Oh, yeah.
and just being like, I wonder what's going on
I
over
know.
there.
See, that's the thing is they just don't tell you. And then you find out and you're like,
Yeah.
what? I would rather know than
Yeah.
not
Wow.
know.
So apparently you're just sleeping through fire alarms or
Yeah, straight up. It's crazy. But yeah, probably not nearly as crazy as Mexico, would be my guess.
yeah.
yeah.
think
But
we're
regardless of all that, man, Mexico's beautiful.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's the annoying part is like, I could be here all the time, but like, I don't want to worry about it at the same time. It is insane. The food's great. The people are great.
Mm-hmm.
I took 8 years of Spanish, still can't.
Still can't speak it.
get it. I try.
Can you speak Portuguese?
No, not at all.
No, I know the bad words that they've taught me, and that's
yeah,
about
that's
it.
how it works.
Yeah, there's a lot of bull riders come over from Brazil. I've got one
Okay.
at my house right now,
That's
actually.
cool.
It's on our team that just got here from Brazil.
That's cool.
He's staying with me and training for a while till
Does
I
he
get him on
speak
his
English?
feet. No.
Okay, that's hard.
Yeah, and I've started to learn Portuguese. The problem is that their pronunciation of letters is even different.
Oh, really?
Right? So it's not like you can kind of sound it out and figure it out. It's like, all right, this looks like it should sound like this, and it sounds totally different.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
That's too gnarly.
Is there starting to be enough money in the sport to where the Brazilians can come here and fully live on their own and get sponsors? And
Oh yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, the Brazilians that come here, this is the opportunity of a lifetime
Yeah.
for them. Because in Brazil, it's a lot of poverty. Their two biggest sports, though, is soccer and bull riding.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's why we've got this big pool of Brazilian bull riders right now, because all the young kids grow up wanting to play one of those two sports.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, and they're good. We've had a lot of world champion bull riders from Brazil, probably about half of the ones in the PBR.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, the only
It's also just like surfing. There's so many connections.
Yeah, I know.
It's like all
Yeah.
Brazilians.
really.
Yeah.
Americans, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
it is-
crazy.
It's interesting how that
I
works.
know. It made me think right back to it again. I'm just like, wow, there's a lot of connections there.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities, it seems like, in here in Brazil in terms of sports.
Mhm.
Because
True.
I mean, I guess it's only
A
two
lot
or
of
three.
coastline.
But
That's a huge country.
yeah.
Yeah, but they can make a pile of money here, and that's why it's attractive to them, because
Yeah.
they're for every 17 of our cents is worth one of their dollars.
Wow.
That's insane.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
didn't know it's
what's
like
that? Over 5 time
Yeah.
the money. So you come over here and win, 100,000
And then go
as a
back
bull
home.
rider. You over there now, all of a sudden you're one of the top
Damn.
1%ers.
Damn. Interesting.
Seems like a no-brainer at that point. Then.
Yeah. How has the sport been sponsored? Like, obviously, there's pretty much like the 4 or 5 main sponsors for the league itself and for individual teams, but how are individual athletes going about sponsorships these days?
Yeah. So a lot of individual bull riders, they have agents. And
Yeah.
so these agents, get a percentage to go out and find the sponsors, get all that stuff lined up. And that's really grown. And you've got a lot of companies, that come in and really get heavily involved and stay for quite a while. And some that don't stay for as long, but it's been cool just to see how these sponsorships evolve. So like when I was riding, Enterprise Rent-A-Car was one of my biggest and best sponsors. I was with them most of my
Sick.
career.
Free rentals?
No, but we got a heck of a discount. Surprisingly though, that discount code still works.
No way.
It's been, I don't
Hell
know
yeah.
how long.
Epic.
Until they listen to this, they're like, "Oh fuck, we have to
Yeah.
shut it off."
I'll bleep it out. I'll bleep it out.
Cut that code
Yeah.
off.
That's actually really clutch when you travel so much.
Oh yeah.
Honestly.
But the coolest part about it was they were heavily involved. It was actually, we had a team of guys. There was like 13 of us
Whoa.
that were all on the team. But how they got involved was a world champion bull rider who's coincidentally a coach now too for the Austin Gamblers. The CEO of Enterprise got given tickets to this event. Went to the event, never been, didn't know what he was watching. But when he was leaving, he ran into this particular bull rider. And this bull rider, I'll just say his name, Michael Gaffney. He's an awesome dude. Well, just like Michael is, just talking, BSing back and forth, yada, yada. Well, Steve, the CEO, looked down and seen his buckle, said world champion. And he thought, man, if this is a world champion in this sport, like we need to be involved in this sport. And dove in
Damn, that's
Wow.
awesome.
and ended up changed because of Michael being just the good dude he is.
Yeah.
He changed the whole sport. It changed my life, a lot of other guys' lives because of the sponsor that came in and said, all right, we're going to set the bar up here as far as what a sponsor can do.
Yeah. Are they still involved?
They're not. No, that CEO retired.
Okay.
He might have been the CFO, but he retired, and the new guy coming in wanted to go elsewhere with their advertising.
So who would you say are like the top 2 or 3 right now in terms of their involvement?
Yeah, so Monster Energy is the biggest one right now. Yeah. They're the presenting sponsor of the individual season. It's called the Monster Energy season. They're the presenting sponsor. So they've been huge. Before that, it was Ford trucks, and before that, it was Bud Light. So there's always a primary presenting sponsor.
Yeah. Is Ram taking over Ford, or is Ford still in there strong?
Ford's still in there, I believe. Ram is pretty much all rodeo.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's their bread and butter.
Yeah. It's interesting to see the parallels and kind of like where they pick their sport.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like baseball. I was always shocked that Budweiser always gets that other than the Rockies.
I know. They always split randomly.
I know.
Like that.
I've told them, because we worked with Coors, I'm like, you need to, like, baseball is huge. You should sponsor, like Budweiser has it. I don't know how they do that, like how big companies kind of like even for enterprise, that's a crazy decision, because it makes sense kind of, because people are traveling, renting cars, I see it, but I'm like, what a bold move. Like, that's awesome of him to do that.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with just the demographics, right?
True.
Because a lot of the people are watching on TV and seeing these logos, and that's probably what's more valuable than your in person.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Dang.
But
it's wild.
So y'all work a lot with Coors then?
We have for, oh man, you would know more than me, like 6 years.
Yeah, pretty much about 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forget how it really first started, but I think somebody was wearing a Seager shirt and they met somebody pretty high up at Coors.
Mm-hmm.
And then we somehow just got instantly connected to David Coors and built a relationship there, did one of these podcasts with him, and have just been working with him ever since.
Mm-hmm.
Product, partnership, content, a little bit of everything.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, he's up in my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
It is. It's honestly, not to just gas you up, but Colorado's my favorite state for sure. Like, I love California, grew up here, but
you've always said that.
Colorado, I'm at some point in my life. I can't right now because I'm stuck here with Dylan. But
my bad.
At some point, I'm buying a place in Colorado for sure.
What part do you like the best?
I don't know. I was about to ask you, like, where should I go? I mean, I'm not gonna be able to afford like some crazy like Aspen. I don't even want that. I liked mountain biking. I liked fly fishing. I liked everything about Colorado because you can do everything. So, like, where's the best bang for buck? And maybe you tell me off camera because you don't want to blow it up. But at some point, I'm going.
For everybody listening, stay out of Colorado.
Yeah, but I feel that. Yeah.
No, there's so many good places. But your comment with affordable, best bang for the buck.
Yeah, it's hard.
You're gonna have to settle.
For sure, I feel that.
Yeah.
Every time I look, it's like it's not cheap at all.
No, it's crazy everywhere.
It's crazy.
Man. I don't even know what to say about it. You just hope you make enough money before you die to afford a house.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
I know. I thought about getting like a little place on like just a river you could fly fish and just chilling. But I looked that up and it's like you gotta have like 3 million at least. I'm like, bro, what? I was like, if you're gonna afford that house, you probably don't even fly fish anyways. You probably just like go there once a year, go snowboard.
Yeah.
Once.
No, over on the further west side of the state, it's a little more affordable.
That's good.
The Front Range, though, right along the mountains, because that's where all your business and everything is. It's high because it's the same thing. There's everything you need right there. You can be in the mountains in 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's insane.
That just made me think, what's bringing you guys to Ontario? Like, what is this? What's special about this rodeo that brings you guys out here?
Well, this is an established market. We had a team event in Anaheim. And that used to be a regular season event.
Yep.
And before the teams, they kind of alternated between Anaheim and Ontario. So I think they're just, it's an established market. The crowds are always good in California. Yep. Like, this was always one of my favorite places to come.
Sick.
Did a lot of winning out here, so it always treated me well.
Yeah.
Didn't you go to the Anaheim one?
I've been to the Anaheim one.
Yeah,
it was the sickest thing. It was electric in there.
Yeah, I missed it.
Yeah.
Inland Empire demographic.
Oh yeah,
I'm showing up.
I'm all about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm in.
Sick. Anaheim's good. Actually, I think I had my highest score ever
in Anaheim.
In Anaheim.
Whoa, that's huge.
Nice.
Hell yeah. You have like a plaque up or something?
No.
We could put one up. We just walk by and just stick it on the wall.
Got a sticker.
Yeah.
Hilarious. But no, the crowds here in California, they're just awesome.
That's why I'm shocked there isn't a team. Like there probably will be a team, but I wonder, would it be down here, you think? If they were?
I bet, yeah. because you've got more people down here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Southern California is just where your better market is for selling.
For sure.
But
Probably gonna
Let's
be
make it
Anaheim or
happen.
something.
I bet. Well, there you
I know,
go.
right?
What if you get the Seager bull
I
riding
would
team?
love
That would be
that.
insane.
Yeah, that'd be insane. I don't
That'd
know
be super
what
insane.
mayor we have to talk to or something.
Yeah.
No, you just
What
got to
dinner?
buy your own franchise next time they do
Oh
an
my
expansion.
God, that probably costs a lot of money, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Well, here's to show you the growth of it. So
Yeah.
we just finished our third year,
Okay.
our third season. When they sold the initial franchises, they were for $3 million apiece.
Okay.
They sold 2 more the next year for 15 apiece.
Okay.
Sold 2 more here recently for over 20 apiece.
Damn. Wait, so what do you mean
Jesus.
sold? So
Okay.
PBR is selling them to a new franchise?
Yeah,
owner?
so
Okay.
they like create these franchises, and then it's a bidding process,
Gotcha.
and the new bidders or the new owners, won the bid, and then they
Damn.
they're like, here you go, you're
Yeah.
part of the franchise now, and you get a team.
Couple of years, it's gonna be hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Go in on.
It'd be cool just for the not only the growth of the sport, but for the as a bull rider, I like to see future bull riders winning lots of money, because
Yeah.
it used to be guys doing this, you could be the best in the world, retire without 2 pennies to rub together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And so for guys to be actually make a legit living now, and support their families and have a ranch or something paid off when they're
Yeah.
done.
That's cool.
Yeah, it makes me feel like they're being rewarded for what they put into the sport.
Yeah.
'Cause it's-
What's the best way to not spread awareness, but I guess spread awareness for the sport itself?
Just invite people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more tickets we sell, the better it is. And that's the thing I'd tell people: just come to one.
Yeah.
You get to
That's all it
one,
takes.
and you're going to be hooked.
Oh yeah.
And without fail, like I said, even our event in Brooklyn this year, them people didn't have a clue what they were watching,
Yeah.
but they had the
All
time of
fired
their
up.
lives. They loved
For
it,
sure.
Sounds epic.
and they'd boo the opposing team, and it was
That's
just so much
hilarious.
fun.
That's hilarious.
But they'll come buy tickets for the next 20 years.
Yeah. So are you living in New York then?
No,
Okay.
I still live in Colorado.
Nice.
Actually, none of our team, except some of the management, lives in New York.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
just the franchise and the name behind it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
That
And
makes sense.
so it's a little different than other sports in that aspect. But who knows? Maybe someday there will be enough money in it to where guys relocate to the state that they.
I think it's
compete
cool that you said that everyone's an independent contractor and you could live in your spot, but be a part of a team, and just builds it into a bigger idea of a sport.
Yeah, it's just I don't know all the reasons behind it, but that's the way it's set up right now.
Yeah.
So it creates challenges, but it's also good that guys don't have to uproot their family and
Yeah, absolutely.
move across the country.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'd imagine it's for like liability, honestly. That's where my head immediately went as a business owner. I'm like, everyone's gonna get hurt for sure. That's insane medical.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're. Oh my goodness! You could
couldn't
have a whole
imagine.
nother podcast just on medical side of
oh
bull
my
riding
God,
world.
yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. Did you have any really bad injuries in your time?
Yeah, I mean, I had plenty, and I've been asked 1,000 times over the years.
Yeah,
What's your worst injury? This and that.
for
And
sure.
the pits is when you get so many bad ones, you can't really put your finger on the worst.
Yeah.
It's you try to forget them as quick as you can, but I don't know. I broke my back twice, separated my pelvis,
Jesus.
broke all kinds of other bones and torn ligaments and tendons and muscles and all the things. So I don't know. There's been some more challenging moments, like riding with injuries, right?
Yeah.
Like riding with a broken leg or a torn groin or
Damn.
or busted eye socket or something like that. But I suppose if you had to pin it down, probably the first time I broke my back was the scariest.
For sure. That's
Yeah.
a very major injury.
Yeah. And it's just at the time, I was 15. I didn't know what was going on. I
Wow.
just thought I was dying or
I guess
something.
that's probably the best time to do it because you have the best like recovery time. You know what I mean? Like if you were like 30 and broke your back, that sounds way harder.
Yeah, it'd be a little rough. I don't know. It's really not a good time to break your back. But
Yeah, I know.
I never broke my femur though, so I'm happy
That's
about
good.
that. Yeah.
Damn.
I imagine that'd be worse.
That sounds
Did you think
painful.
the first time you broke your back that you would have any type of like paralysis or?
No, because I wasn't. I didn't have any paralysis
Like you were able to
either
ride
time. I could move. I don't know how to describe it. When you've done something really bad to your body and you're
Yeah.
not sure what,
Yeah.
that's kind of the feeling.
Gnarly.
Insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it's what it is. Yeah, everybody
sure.
gets hurt. There's no reason to throw your sucker in the dirt. You just
For
get
sure.
tough and move on.
I mean, that's where the team thing's probably great too. Because like one of your teammates gets hurt, you have like a community now
Yeah.
that can kind of look after you versus on your own. and then your wife's got to like drag you to the hospital or something. You know what I mean? They gotta like
Yeah,
drive home.
or rely on your buddies that have been
Yeah.
in the beer tent already.
Exactly.
Like, hey, I need a ride to the hospital.
Yeah, it's insane.
No, it's good. They get some injured reserve pay now and stuff.
Oh, really? That's
yeah.
cool. That's cool. Definitely
Well,
makes sense.
is there anybody you want to shout out or anybody that we should be looking at who's the big up and coming guy?
Man, I tell you what, and this isn't even a secret, but John Crimber, he's a 19-year-old kid. He's just flat out amazing.
Okay.
I've never seen a kid this good, this young. He just recently became the youngest millionaire ever in the PBR.
Wow.
He just, I mean, like I said, he
Damn.
just turned 19 in August, so he's hadn't hardly even been a professional for a full year. But we've all known, the guys that know the sport, we've all known he was that good since he was 15 or younger even. We're just like, man, when do you turn 18, John?
Yeah.
And since then, he's
prodigy.
come on. He was runner-up for Rookie of the Year last year. He was runner-up for the world title last year. And right now he's winning the world this year. We're only a week into the individual season, but the only reason he was runner-up in Rookie of the Year and the world title is because another rookie, Cassio Diaz, who's the reigning world champion, happened to beat him, so he won Rookie of the Year and won the world title. But if you get a chance, look at John ride. He rides like a seasoned pro at a very young age.
For sure.
He's badass.
Yeah, how much does style come into play on that?
Oh, it's big because, half your score is based on the bull and the other half's based on how well you ride. So if you can style one up, you get marked more points than the bull.
Yeah.
Your bull is kind of your baseline. And so a guy like John, he's going to consistently mark, 3 to 4 points higher than his bull. And that's huge, especially over the course of a career when a guy's, putting rides together over and over and over, you're generating a lot more points than everybody else.
How are they grading that style though? Like, is it based on how casual you're looking or cool, calm, and collected or how?
Yeah.
how
if
hard
you're weak
bucking?
at the crowds, you get extra points. No, kind of like, I like to call it domination.
Yeah.
Right. So you see guys that are kind of like, they're getting it done, but they're kind of out of control and wild.
Yeah.
That type of rider might make the bull look a little bit better than he is. But when you've got a rider that's completely dominating a bull, it's like he's just a split second ahead of that bull. Every time he tries to do something, that rider's just a touch ahead of him. And when I say that, it's a hard dynamic to explain because you can't really anticipate what they're going to do and be ahead of them. But their reactions are just so fast. It looks like they're ahead of them.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then spurring,
Same.
you can get extra points for spurring, and John will whoop on one. It's fun to watch.
Jeez.
Damn.
It's gnarly. So you have Ontario this weekend, and then do you guys still have Anaheim, or is that one or the other?
No, I think Anaheim, we were there for the teams earlier this summer.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's done.
Yeah, that's over. They have Ontario this weekend, and then, to be honest with you, I don't know where they go the week after that.
Got it.
But there's a few more events, and then they'll be to Madison Square Garden the first weekend of January in New York City.
That's wild.
Are any of your guys coming to the San Diego rodeo early January?
I don't know. Possibly.
Yeah.
I hadn't looked that far ahead. I didn't even look ahead to next week.
Just
I
asking.
think there's a
something we'll
holiday
probably-
coming up. That's all I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Dang. Well, I don't think. Are you going this weekend?
No, I'm moving.
Where to?
San Juan.
Oh, okay.
Local.
Yeah.
Local to local.
From San
Down
Juan
the
to San
street?
Juan. Yeah, down the street. I wish I can come though. Are you gonna go?
I haven't figured that out yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
Well,
Yeah,
if you guys want to go, let me know. I bet we can round up some tickets for you.
Sweet. Would really appreciate that.
You bet.
Yeah. And
Hell
next time we're in New York. And
Yeah,
you
let
guys
us know.
happen to be there.
Yeah.
if you are
Awesome.
ever there.
How often do you get to New York?
Never?
Oh, man, I haven't been maybe in like 8 years or something.
Oh, no kidding.
Because my mom's whole family's from there and lives there, but it's just never fun. My dad's from England, and then I have a lot of family in Tennessee, so it's like
I got you.
kind of just stick here.
Yeah.
It's hard to leave. But we travel. I mean, we're traveling mostly through the West. We did the Southeast last summer, but we haven't done the Northeast yet.
Yeah,
Gotta
maybe
do
this
that.
upcoming year
I
we'll be out
know.
there.
There you go. Come
That'd be
check it
sick.
out. I think next year our event will be there in August, most likely.
Okay, cool.
Sick. So hopefully tomorrow, and if not, next time you guys are in Anaheim, for sure, I'm there. We're there.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be there.
I would say
Yeah,
so,
well, let us
sure.
know, and we'll get you good seats.
For sure.
Come back and meet all the guys. Heck, maybe even arrange that bull riding thing you was
Oh
talking
my
about.
Yeah.
God. Okay.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Dress me like the
now it
Mich-
got serious. So.
Yeah, dress me like the
Now he's
Michelin
sweating.
Man. Maybe I am. I'm already sweating. If you dress me in pillows, maybe like a little baby. That's
Well,
insane.
I don't think that would help you. Honestly.
Yeah. Get out to Colorado and I'll put you on one at the house. A little more low
Fuck.
key.
Okay,
That would be sick.
I'm open to it.
Might
I'm
take
open
care
to it.
Hey, we tried to get Theo Vaughn on one, and he
Did he?
said he
Oh,
was
yeah?
going to. So we're going to have to hold
Holy
his feet to the fire.
shit.
Damn.
He came to Nashville the other day, and he told us we're all like Jehovah's Witnesses because we're all like, hey, you need to get on a bull.
I couldn't imagine him getting on a bull, honestly.
Oh, my goodness.
Was he actually interested? Or
He seemed like it.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
that could be a little reality show in itself right
Oh,
there.
my goodness. That guy and Chase Outlaw are the same human, I swear. But anyhow,
Yeah.
the
Well, thank
offer's
you.
open. We'll arrange it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you again for coming. Everyone follow along the New York Mavs.
Yeah, really
.com.
appreciate your time.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep. Check us out, New York Mavericks, on social media, and when the team season starts again in July, come root us on.
Hell
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
There we go.